Observations on the Nature of Faith by Simon Murphy. Traditionally, we are given the picture of faith as being a kind of stalwart refusal to let go of what is perceived as one or more critical commitments or beliefs. My experience with unlearning and coming into the fruits of faith has revealed a more subtle process at hand. Faith seems to be a natural quality which is cultivated as we set aside our mental screens and filters, which at some point will always falter. When we are determined to trust our mental conclusions, faith has a way of just slipping aside, ungraspable. It is not that it has abandoned us, it is that we prioritized a kind of poverty over riches and turned our heads in another direction. If we observe what is happening within us in our quieter moments, we are actually being asked to oversee a critical decision. It is not a decision that is a one-off, but one that requires eternal commitment, iterated in each living moment, with each breath in and out. Life doesn't stop, therefore we don't stop. This means freedom has an ongoing role. Have you noticed how stories, movies, and fairy tales are punctuated by an ending? No matter how decisively tied off that ending is, happy or unhappy, it's just an idea, a frame or slice selectively taken out of eternity, neglecting the fundamental principle that change is ongoing. Everything that manifests outwardly will eventually disappear from view, but this is necessary for anything to ever come into a new beginning. None of what has ever appeared to you could ever have done so were there not a space for it to appear, a blank page upon which words could be written. This forfeiture of agenda is such a strange choice to come across because we haven't been overtly taught about it. Yet, if we embark upon any serious inner learning for ourselves, this curriculum very soon reveals itself as of ultimate value and importance. We can decide to trust our thoughts and conclusions, which lends itself to the notion that we are the sole directors of existence. Or we can set them aside to reveal the majestic source of all. This setting aside is a mysterious project, and it seems to be one born out of an earned trust. If we commit to the pathless path, what we eventually come to discover for ourselves is that behind the script that we have carefully prepared, as well as had written on our behalf by others, there is something totally cohesive and intelligent available that guides everything in unrivaled perfection. In the Tao Te Ching, it is expounded that in trying to make this power your own, your attempt to capture, command, and direct it is also to instantly forfeit your intuitive connection with it. Its natural guidance is then covered over for precisely as long as you insist on making it a project of your own directorship. Our human schools told us in so many implicit ways that we were the pilots, we were the drivers. The incredible mercy of the divine is when you find the capacity to put aside your agendas, there is something else there within you that responds. It is alive, natural, and connected. If you have any memory of how you responded in childhood, naturally and unimpeded by falsehood, then you will understand how clear and effortless this can be. Many people don't remember this because authenticity is elusive to the mind, which is an expert at documenting our agendas of ourselves and inputting those of others. We aren't cut off from the vine, not a single one of us, except that what has happened is that we took up the banner of the world and decided to enthrone the mind where it does not belong as the final author and source of all things that would bring us contentment and riches inner and outer. What was lost in that transaction was authenticity. This loss is what is meant by the notion of gaining the world and losing your soul. That the confused, separate mind of humanity should fail to deliver, to not attend our deepest needs again and again, is hardly surprising. In faith, your hands are empty, but in their emptiness, their full capacity to respond, act, and do is revealed. I have not come across a higher service or a more fulfilling activity of the human heart than to retire the will into the vast heart of what is true. No conclusion will suffice, because a conclusion is not alive, it is dead. What is human knowledge but a series of conclusions knitted together? This is why Ajahn Chah said, "The only book worth reading is the book of the heart." It may seem backward or even blasphemous, but what he really meant is that the source relevant to our daily life is itself a living process to be danced with freely, not a single tome of unchanging truth from which we can derive mental artifacts. Anything that cannot be let go of should set off our inner alarm bells. We have engaged our minds so busily in seeking the nutritive that we have actually totally missed what is truly nourishing to our own souls at their source, which can only be attended in retiring the insanity of mind's agendas.